With the release of Halo Season 2's penultimate episode, things are getting mind-bendingly crazier as the show is nearing its end and the key pieces are finally being arranged on the board. In the end of the previous episode, we witnessed both Master Chief and Mackie touch their keystones and finally make a connection. For a week now, we have been on the edge of our seats waiting for the moment John and Mackie share a vision. With a Halo ring looming large and everyone jockeying for position, this vision could be the key to who manages to reach Halo first. Without wasting another moment, let's find out what happens in Thermopylae.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The vision we have all been waiting for. Episode 7 begins with Mackie and Master Chief sharing an intense conversation on a holographic projection of the ring-like planet. Mackie mentions how the Halo has been calling for her as if it were alive, and this revelation disturbs Master Chief, who is still reeling from Mackie's actions on Reach, where she led the Covenant to attack and kill thousands of innocent people. In her defense, Mackie argues that in war, both sides seek to destroy each other, and she views herself to be someone destined for something greater. When she claims how she can locate Halo, Master Chief pleads for her not to lead the Covenant there, fearing they will bring destruction and basically eviscerate humankind. But Mackie explains that if either the Covenant or the UNSC gain controls of the ring, they will likely use it as a weapon to wipe one another off from existence. However, she proposes a different approach and theorizes that the ring has the potential for both destruction and creation, meaning that it could be a force for peace and life rather than war and destruction. When she asks the Chief to help her wield the ring as a symbol of peace, Master Chief remains silent, which Mackie interprets as his disagreement. Well, the Chief doesn't exactly get the space to offer his stance as their discussion is interrupted by the real-life events unfolding around them. As Master Chief is being detained by Oni forces on Onyx, Mackie is aboard the Arbiter's ship, where the Arbiter's followers and Covenant loyalists are still fighting. Suddenly, both Halo keystones emit a powerful energy, stunning everyone except Mackie, who manages to escape. Even Onyx felt the shockwave of their separation from the vision. Anyways, Mackie was being chased by the Covenant priest, who almost had her cornered until Cortana snuck up and proceeded to distract the priest long enough for Mackie to use her laser sword to pierce his heart. Then Cortana helped Mackie access a star map, where she finally located the Halo ring's precise location now that her powers have been restored.
Contact Admiral Stanford to dispatch the UNSC fleet from Sector 3.
Ackerson and Parangosky are on damage control duty. After the unexpected arrival of Master Chief, Oni leaders Admiral Margaret Parangosky and Colonel James Ackerson discuss how to handle the situation. Parangosky is deeply concerned about the potential fallout if the public were to ever discover that Master Chief and Dr. Halsey are still alive, fearing it would lead to uncomfortable questions about the fall of Reach and Oni's controversial tactics. When Ackerson suggests that managing the situation wouldn't be as difficult, Parangosky rebuffs him, making it clear that the orders he acted on actually came from someone not even involved with Oni officially. It becomes inherently clear how she wants Ackerson to bear the brunt of the blame for the Reach disaster, effectively making him a target for Master Chief's wrath. Before Ackerson can fully comprehend her tactics, the UNSC comms managed to come back online after Cortana had hacked them in the previous episode, and news arrives that a significant portion of the Covenant's fleet has surrounded the ship Mackie is on, likely near the Ring-In Sol system. Parangosky realizes the gravity of the situation as the Covenant fleet is now dangerously close to Halo.
Stop right there!
Kai finally comes around. After Master Chief's vision, tensions escalate as the UNSC commander Briggs attempts to arrest Master Chief once again. When the Chief refuses to surrender, Briggs orders her soldiers to open fire at him. However, Chief, drawing from his own experiences, takes a stand against blindly following orders. Looking the squad of Marines in the eye, Chief recalls his own experiences, understanding the pressure to follow orders without question. He emphasizes that soldiers always have an innate sense of whether their actions are just or not, striking a chord with the soldiers. Surprisingly, they resonate with his speech and refuse to carry out Briggs' orders, asserting that she should handle unethical actions herself. Despite the soldiers' reluctance, Briggs remains determined, pointing her gun at Chief. However, Kai stops Briggs' bullshit with a powerful blow to the back of her head. knocking her out. Meanwhile, we witness Miranda, Halsey, and Kwan Ha try and figure out the cave they are in alongside racking their heads about the functions of the door with a puzzle lock on them. Apparently, this cave was an ancient library found underneath onyx. Miranda then challenges Halsey's claim of being able to unlock the chambers quickly, pointing out that it took her months instead of weeks. To prove her own progress, Miranda successfully opens one of the chambers and asks her mother about the chamber's contents. Halsey confesses that it holds a mixture of human DNA combined with something else, leaving us quite perplexed. The cost of war. In the command center of the Oni base at Onyx, Parangosky and Ackerson find themselves in a tense situation as they launch a retaliatory counteroffensive against the Covenant fleet. Parangosky, without much deliberation, decides to deploy the newly trained Spartans, but Ackerson protests this decision, knowing that these Spartans aren't yet prepared to take on such a highly advanced enemy. However, Parangosky appears indifferent to his objections and insists on sending the underprepared Spartans into battle without hesitation. Frustrated, Ackerson is ordered to locate Master Chief and storms out to the control room, and within minutes the initial wave of Spartans is quickly overwhelmed by the Covenant forces, resulting in devastating losses. Despite this setback, Parangosky wastes no time in sending in a second wave, leaving Ackerson puzzled about her strategy. As Ackerson questions the human toll of the attack, Parangosky urges him to consider the larger consequences and emphasizes that if the Covenant's flight path leads them to activate Halo, it would mean catastrophic consequences for humanity, as there won't be anything left to fight for. Soren wants his son to become a Spartan. Remember the strange arena Soren and Lyra discovered in Onyx in the previous episode? Well, it's called Thermopylae, and here Soren reveals that the arena is where they tested young candidates for the Spartan program, including himself, John, Kai, Riz, and Vanek, who later became the Silver Team. In a partial flashback, Soren recalls how they faced a squad of assailants together as just 5 kids, but it helped them fight as one, which showed how each one of them had the spirit of a Spartan in them. Now, Soren apparently believes that Kessler should undergo the same trials to discover his true identity as a fighter. Of course, Lyra disagrees, saying it's messed up. She tells Soren that he seems to look up to Halsey too much for what he has managed to become, and hence wants Kessler to become a Spartan like him. This scene is the first-hand example of how excessive machismo and overfixation on a war can mess up someone's way of thinking, to a point that Soren is justifying his son to go through the same trauma he underwent. I mean, yeah, he's strong and all that, but at what cost? Fortunately, Lyra reminds him that he has a family now, and she won't let anyone hurt their child under any circumstances, as they once hurt Soren. The new Spartans are holding on for dear life. After Parangosky's ruthless orders, Colonel Talia Perez is getting ready for a battle with her new Spartan Javelin team. When she notices one of her teammates gets anxious, believing they are gonna die on the mission, Perez tells her that the real fear is letting fear take over during combat, as in a real battle there's no time for personal fears when you're focused on the people fighting alongside you. Surprisingly, this speech works, even though Perez doesn't seem fully convinced herself. Meanwhile, Master Chief and Kai are walking through the base, seeing the new Spartans getting ready. Although Kai apologizes to Chief for trusting Ackerson and Oni, he isn't really in a mood to forgive. Instead, he tells Kai that Cortana can help them find his armor, and they head off. On the other hand, Halsey is explaining to Miranda about the strange DNA she found in the ancient library, which led her to look for kids with similar DNA quirks to make the Spartans. Apparently, she needed these kids with similar DNA to unlock the doors, and that's why she started gathering kids from different places and experimented on them, hoping they'd unlock these doors. But things didn't go as planned. Hence, they have to take the conventional route and solve puzzles to open the doors instead. This is when Kwan corrects Halsey by mentioning how she kidnapped those kids, but Halsey believes her work is crucial for humanity's evolution. Following this, Miranda gives Halsey an artifact she found, and Kwan touches a locked door, getting a reaction from it as it starts glowing, thus implying she has traces of the hybrid DNA Halsey was looking for all this time. Maybe that's why she sees visions of the old lady, and it is possible that she might be somehow connected to the species that built these gates. How this species managed to spread across the galaxy isn't much of a mystery, as it likely involved intergalactic travel. As Kwan Ha removes one of the beads from the puzzle, a holograph of stars appears. Although Miranda and Halsey thinks it's a star map, Kwan Ha believes it's a clock and proceeds to arrange the dots based on her feelings, which again hints to her possible connection to the cave. The door finally unlocks and it leads them to a bridge and a chamber. On an interesting side note, it is quite clear that this entire subplot involving Kwan Ha, Halsey, and Miranda Solving puzzles in this episode is paying homage to puzzle-based missions, commonly found in the Halo games. Ackerson is solving his own puzzle. So, Ackerson has his own puzzle to solve because he is trying to figure out what Margaret is planning. When he runs a simulation on the spike meant to disable a Covenant ship, he finds out that instead of just deactivating the ship, the spike will turn it into a huge bomb, and this bomb could destroy an entire planet or more. It has the potential to take out the Covenant, the UNSC, and the Ring at one blow. But all Margaret cares about is to prevent both the Covenant and the UNSC from getting the Ring. So if the humans can't have it, she'll make sure it doesn't exist at all, no matter how huge the collateral damage is. Just as Ackerson starts to change his loyalty, Master Chief and Kai finds him. Chief almost chokes him until Ackerson reveals that Chief's armor is locked with a biometric lock using his face. Ackerson even admits that he knows about Parangosky's plans to stop the Covenant in Halo, but Master Chief doubts Ackerson's honesty, and for good reason. Anyways, Ackerson guides Master Chief and Kai to the room where the Spartan Silver Team's armor is stored. As they reach the chamber with the suits, Kai and Master Chief see Vanek's suit and express how he died while being utterly confused about his final moments. Later, when Ackerson tries to defend himself by saying he was just following orders, Chief offers him another option, to either die like Vanek or go public with what Oni, Parangosky, and Ackerson did to Reach, including their plans for suicide bombers. Of course, Ackerson is scared of the consequences, but Chief reminds him that in war, someone always pays the price, and this time, it's going to be him. Master Chief and Kai go on their own missions. Master Chief and Kai get ready to put on their armor, but they have different reasons for doing so. Kai wants to join her fellow Spartans on the battlefield, while Master Chief aims to stop the Halo from falling into the wrong hands. How is he going to stop it? Nobody knows yet. Anyways, before leaving, Master Chief wonders what Kai will do if she has to activate the spike and potentially trigger the blast. But Kai asks him to concentrate on his own mission and to let her handle herself. Meanwhile, in the Cave of Onyx, the chamber that Kwan-Ha, Halsey, and Miranda unlock turns out to be a lab. Inside, they find a mummified body of a dead alien holding onto some device who Halsey recognizes as another scientist. Suddenly, the facility activates and the entrance starts closing, causing it to crumble. While Quan rushes back across the bridge, Halsey is amazed to see an ancient city below. Somehow, Miranda saves Halsey, and that is also the first time we hear her calling Mom, and they make it back to the library. When Quan looks at the star map again, she notices all the white dots in the holographic space turning red. This reminds her of a drawing of a grave mine she saw before, and finally realizes that the map is linked to something called the Growth, which hardcore gaming fans know as a reference to a dangerous species called the Flood. Following this, Halsey has that similar scientist look of excitement on her face, thinking she's onto something groundbreaking. But there's a high chance she might mess things up as usual and then act like she's a victim of her own curiosity. Have the Fallen been redeemed? We see the Arbiter telling Mackie that all the heretics they faced are now defeated. When he asks Mackie about their next steps, she finally admits that she can't see the way forward because she's fallen from grace within the Covenant. But the Arbiter disagrees, saying Mackie has helped him find his path to redemption. As the fleet begins to attack on her ship, Mackie realizes how Vargatanai is still standing beside her, so to show her solidarity, Mackie marks herself with the same insignia of shame as the Arbiter did when he took on his title. When the Arbiter says they're now connected to each other, Mackie reminds him that they're actually tied to the Halo ring. Meanwhile, during Kessler's Spartan test in the gladiatorial arena, Soren intervenes to protect him and the other kids from attackers, saving them from the trauma of not having to fight grown men. However, seeing his father fight so violently scares Kessler, and he refuses to go to him, so Lyra steps in to comfort Kessler instead. Unfortunately, when another group of attackers arrive, things go wrong, as Lyra and Kessler are captured by the people running the fights in Thermopylae, while Soren is still busy fighting. Heart-to-heart conversations before the war. So Master Chief is back in his armor and approaches Perez as she's getting ready for battle. Naturally, Perez is surprised to see Chief alive and wonders if he's joining the Javelin unit in the fight, but Chief explains he is on a different mission, which visibly upsets Perez. As they realize that they have their own missions to tend to, Perez assures Chief that whatever happens, she's content with her own path. On the other hand, Miranda and Halsey have a heartfelt conversation while examining the device from the ancient lab. Miranda tells her mother that she took the assignment in the ruins to feel closer to her. We see Miranda promise to continue her mother's work even after Halsey is no longer around. However, Miranda's promise becomes unexpectedly true because when she finally unlocks the casing on the device, she realizes that Halsey has slipped away. Halsey heard that Oni is starting to search for unauthorized personnel on the base and decided to leave. So yeah, she basically ghosted her own daughter. The end of the episode sets up for a banger season finale. As Master Chief walks through the base in his armor, he passes by many Marines, inspiring them with his presence. In a jump scene, we see Ackerson tell Margaret that Master Chief will reveal the true story of what happened on Reach, and no one will believe Margaret's lies anymore. After Margaret finds out about Ackerson's betrayal, she has him arrested, but Master Chief manages to launch off Onyx successfully. Meanwhile, Kai leads the Spartans towards the Covenant, and Master Chief exits Warp to see the Arbiter's fleet trying to escape their pursuers. The episode ends as Kai and Perez's ship prepares to enter the battlefield. Chief notices the Halo ring looming above, waiting for the outcome of the conflict. I have to admit, this episode felt a bit chaotic with the amount of overlapping subplots. Apart from learning that Margaret is truly evil, it left a lot of loose ends that hopefully will be tied up in the season finale, as we'll find that out next week when Mackie, Master Chief, the UNSC, and the Covenant all come together at the Halo. What can we expect from the season finale? So in the opening of Halo Combat Evolved, which is the first game in the series, Master Chief receives Cortana from Jacob Keyes right after the fall of Reach, as the Covenant are chasing and boarding the UNSC ship Pillar of Autumn. Master Chief and the crew escape to the surface of the Halo ring where the game's story begins. However, the Halo TV series has of course taken a different route to reach the same destination, as the fall of Reach is fairly recent and Keyes didn't survive in this version. Even the Arbiter's backstory was sped up to bring the character into Halo alongside Chief for the first time. Additionally, Mackie is a new character created specifically for the show. With that being said, Episode 8 of Halo Season 2 will most definitely be a big battle episode that will finally bring Master Chief and other key characters to the surface of the Halo ring. It's been quite a journey over the 2 seasons, but the show deserves credit for cleaning up the mess left behind by Season 1 and aligning with a canon that fans wanted. And as the makers of the show wanted, by the time Master Chief puts his helmet back on and reunites with Cortana, we'll feel strongly connected to the person behind the armor and understand why he feels the need to be a lone hero. This deeper storytelling has the potential to enrich our experience of the events from the Halo games when portrayed in live-action format in the future. How about you guys? What do you guys think? Let us know of your thoughts in the comment box down below.
If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button and comment below about which other movie reviews you would want to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.